Shalom Chavrim, I'm Steve Benoon. You're watching Israeli News Live, and hey, I see that first one was a flop. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to work this OBS, and I am definitely not an expert when it comes to OBS. We're really wanting it to be to where we can also give you full screen on our screen in the background here. We can still run the camera, make it a little bit more simplified. And so I'd kind of figured a few things out on the program here with my laptop through OBS, but then, like you said, no sound. I guess you guys can hear everything now, which is a good thing. So I'm going to shut that part of the system down now. And there. No, yeah, we can save all the changes, but they are absolutely, at this point, they are worthless. That's right, they're all worthless. Anyway, shut that computer down. Listen, we got some weird things going on, of course, and I'm sure many of you guys already know. RT's already got it up. Israel's latest struggle. Netanyahu vigorously battles Iranian's menace, threatens entire states as he is on his war to bomb Iran completely out of existence inside of Syria. And of course, now he even wants to target Iraq and other nations there. And while all that's going on, the foreign minister Zarif was invited by the French over to the G-7 summit. They're trying to get economic ties restarted again with Iran. And, really you can't blame the French for doing it. Let me tell you why. Same thing with Russia. Russia's also hoping to get their economics worked out with the European Union, and this is all happening while they're ready to send the entire world into a total economic meltdown. And so Nikki Haley, though, she made a comment here, and it's really kind of funny. I scrolled down. Actually, Amichai Stein, we've communicated back and forth before over there on Twitter. I kind of watch some of the things he puts out. He's pretty quick on doing things there. But then I saw Nikki Haley's comment. This is completely disrespectful to the real Donald Trump, she tweets out. And the other leaders at the G7, well, the French didn't think so. They invited him, right? Iran supports terrorism at every turn and continues to pursue death to America. Manipulative of Macron to do this and very insincere. Nikki, that's like let me just be blunt. That's a crock of crap. All right, let's just face the music, Nikki. So I had to make a comment on this. I don't even know where my comment is. Let me just see if I can show it to you real quick. Because I had to make what really got me about Nikki Haley's comment on here was, I'm sitting there looking at that part about Iran being the greatest supporter of terrorism, right? Well, who knows? Who knows where my comment? It doesn't really matter, right? I'm just one little bitty fish in the whole thing. But Nikki Haley saying that they are, well, let's see. What are they manipulating Macron to do this? Very insincere. Okay, this is disrespectful to other leaders. Because he talks about how they're for terrorism, and and as I look at that, I'm thinking to myself, how's that disrespectful? Because they say they're a supporter of terrorists. Well, the United States is more of a supporter of terrorism than Iran is. I'm not saying Iran doesn't support terrorism. Sure, they do. But it's the United States, it is Israel that are heavily involved in supporting Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra. And what I don't understand is knowing that, and of course this has to be alleged, we know it's not really true. The United States, Al-Qaeda was not the ones that really took down the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers there, I should say the Twin Towers there on 9/11. Unless Al-Qaeda represents Mossad. Let's face the facts. All right? So, but if you think about it, let's just say hypothetically that it is Al-Qaeda that was so guilty of attack on the Twin Towers and on the Pentagon, then pray tell me then, why does Israel give them assistance in Syria? Why did they not only treat the wounded of Al-Qaeda and al-Nusra, but they also armed them, as it was admitted by one Israeli general not too long ago? After all, RT had an interview one day with Miss Levny, who was one of the architects of this peace agreement with back during the times of the Obama administration. And when she was on the RT News and they asked her, why didn't you join Russia when Russia was trying to defeat ISIS? She said, are you serious? You think we're going to fight to help save the Syrians? In my opinion, yes. Absolutely, you should be fighting for the Syrians because, after all, they are the matriarchs. Syrians are the matriarchs of Israel. Our whole 12 tribes of Israel comes from the Syrian people. But no, we didn't want to help the Syrians. Instead, we want to blow them up. And of course, why does Israel want to blow up the Syrians? They got to make way for American Jews to move to Israel. And of course, that will be the greater Israel because they, instead of believing that, Abraham was the father of not just many nations, but many goyim, as the scripture does say in the Hebrew language, mind you, they got to make way for the Jews of America to come to the Middle East. So therefore, we have to blow up Syria because, after all, God said that Abraham was given everything from the Euphrates River all the way over to the Nile River down in Egypt. I guess we don't count any of Abraham's descendants being Gentiles, even though God did say that he would be a father of many nations. So we got to kill all the Gentiles that he's the father of out there in the Middle East to make way for the Jews here in America, which, by the way, the Jews in America really didn't want to move to the Middle East, so they have a new solution for you guys. If they do it exactly according to plan, they want to bring about a revolution in this nation here, completely collapse the economy. Once we have collapsed the economy here in the United States, then guess what? You got it. Then when the Jews here are starving and are ready to jump off the edge of the bridge there, we can say that we have a utopia in Israel for all of our Jewish brothers and sisters to move to. Kind of like what the Zionists did in Germany. Yeah, they helped Hitler. They killed, millions of the Jews were killed, and that is true. I mean, the Holocaust did happen. The only thing is, we never talk about the Zionist involvement in the Holocaust that was going on over there. So, at any rate, so the whole point is they want to bring about this civil war here in America, collapse the economy, make it really miserable for all of us Jews that are living here so that we will move over into Israel. But we're not really going to go into Israel because there won't be enough room. But have no fear, we have totally conquered Syria just about, not quite as planned as it was supposed to be according to General Wesley Clark. We still got some problems over there, but don't worry, Netanyahu's very busy taking care of that problem there. At least that's what RT is showing us here. While Israel's last struggles, Netanyahu vigorously battles Iranian menace, threatens entire states. Tehran has mocked Israel's intensified efforts to root out Iranian presence in the region after the IDF struck targets in Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq in one day while threatening to continue attacks against Iran's accomplices. And if we're following where we're going with all this, anyway, there's a couple other things I wanted to bring to you guys' attention. This one was really funny. I support the real Donald Trump in his trade war against China. China has been ripping us off for the last 20 years since they joined the World Trade Organization. Too many factories have closed in the USA due to Chinese cheap labor, right? Let me take you, I don't know if I can do it on my computer. Let's see if I can take you to it. Netflix. Let's just see if we can get into Netflix. Let's see. I don't want to try a trial. I don't know if I can sign in. Maybe I can do this. Oh, I know how I can do it. Very easy for you guys. Let me go back over here just for a moment. While we were here, we'll look at Netanyahu's face. And then we will click the button here and take you to Netflix. All right. Now, don't know how well I can do this. And for security purposes, I'll unpull this just for a moment. Hate to do that to you guys. Oh, you can see it anyway. It doesn't really matter, does it? So, anyway, let's just see here. Well, let me see. Hang on, guys. I got to figure this out. Let me see if I don't want to keep you guys waiting too long, so let me just see if I can figure it out. Netflix. And it doesn't want to pull up on the TV screen there, so I'm going to try it a different way. Netflix and the Chinese company Fayu, I think is the name of it there. Get this thing working again here. And, I got it. Let me see. I got it on the internet. Let me pull it back up over this way. Did it work? Yeah. NPR. How did I manage to get it? So we're on Ohio Fact. Okay, all right, it's an article then. All right, it's let's see. I want to see if they'll show the thing here though. Let me just see. This is another good thing for America. You know, this is where Trump is making America great again. And I know there's a lot of people who love Trump. Listen, I'm not here just to bash on the president. The point is he is making America great again. But what people don't realize, and maybe I can do it with YouTube. Let's see. Let me first get the right name for this. The American Factory. Okay, I think it's called American Factory. Let me try it in YouTube. Maybe I can get it that way there, because I want you guys to see this. This is a very, very, very. Maybe I can get a trailer. Netflix. Oh, I spelled Netflix wrong. Boy, I am just not the smartest. Got 0 views. Well, let me get rid of the word Netflix, and maybe that way it'll come up. American Factory. Oh, that's because, like a dummy, I'm trying to do it on my own channel rather than going to the main search button here. You know, I was really on a roll, and all of a sudden it kind of fizzled out here because my brain was wanting you guys to see something there. Here we go, right here, Netflix trailer. Okay, this is the official one there. Oh, and they got the American Factory, the short conversation with the Obamas, and they're with the people that actually made this film. They're talking about this, right? Well, stand here today, this is so serious because the auto plant in Ohio had closed down back in, what was it, 2008 or 2010, something like that. And then these people get their jobs with this new Chinese company that came into America. It's supposed to be the savior of the world. There's the guy. There's Mr. Fayu, whatever his name is there. And maybe 50% Chinese are working in the factory that came from Japan. Fuya, I guess is how you pronounce it. But the people that once made $29 an hour are only making, I think it's $12.40 an hour working at this plant. And when I look at this documentary, and I watched the entire thing, not once, twice. In this documentary, it was so obvious that our nation is being set up for a communist nation. And you guys really need to see this documentary, because I'm curious to know if you will see it the same way I saw it. And the owner of the company, this man right there that's in the plane there, he speaks about how he invested millions of dollars to start this factory. And he constantly is quoting to Donald Trump, "Make America great again." So yeah, Trump is bringing back some jobs from China, not really bringing them back, but he's starting new businesses that are going to be ran by the Chinese. And of course, we know Ivanka Trump, that her children are learning the language of Mandarin, the Chinese language. And again, this is not anything against the Chinese people. The Chinese people are great people. They live under the oppression of communism. But what you have to understand is communism is, at the root of that is Rothschild, elite, Illuminati that made China become a superpower. And as I've been told by the elites in the Israeli government there, the Chinese will be the new world military power in the future. So what are they doing? They're bringing the American factory back, but it's not going to be American. It's going to be Chinese. We're going to end up being slave labor, just like they were in China. And you watch that documentary, and I guarantee you, you cannot help but know what's really going on. The couple that made the documentary, I appreciate the fact of the candidness of what they show in this film. My question is, do people really realize what this is all about? Anyway, listen, we were over with Jim Duke and Jim Duke at Jim Duke Perspectives. And I think there's more than one Jim Duke, so you make sure you get the right one. Myself and Yana were there. Jim on his radio program today. Jim is just a wonderful brother. Been there once before with him on his program. You might want to check that out. It's one reason why we didn't do as much this weekend. We had so many different programs we were preparing for. As also today with Bonnie on Hebrew Nation for Flashpoint, another very insightful program. You might want to catch that as well. A lot of things are going on, friends. A lot of things. Things are going on very rapidly. Things are moving very rapidly. And pray for us. Pray for me as well as we get ready for this Pennsylvania conference. By the way, as of right now, the Pennsylvania conference is booked completely solid. As I stated to you guys, I did not know that we were limited to 70 seats at this conference there. And if you have a comment, because the only way you could register is through our website by leaving it in the comment section, you are coming. If I have answered you and said approved, and I said also with the number that you tell me that is coming, with the exception, I think, of one person that indicated that they were coming. They gave me the number of people they were coming with, but it was like tentative. It wasn't really sure that they were not. On that particular individual, I tentatively let those seats hold because they had already commented. But if you don't go back and check, you need to go back and check, make sure you're approved. And if you're not approved, or you see that I'm kind of trying to find out what you were saying there, you might still be able to make it, but I've got to know the answer. If I gave you a question, I need to know the answer. I need to know that within the next 24 hours, or we'll take and make those seats available. If you can't come and you have already been approved, you see you've been approved, please let us know. The folks there in Pennsylvania, they're the ones that set it up. Now, I did have a group of people that were talking about coming if we had the conference more in central Pennsylvania. We were invited to this conference here, so we didn't set it up, the location or anything like that. That group there is not approved because I assumed that if you wasn't moved to the central part, you wouldn't be able to make it, so I did not count you in. I apologize if you would have come. I just wasn't clear enough for me to know. I will update the website, hopefully by Monday, with the exact location of where the conference will be. And but again, I can't stress enough. If you know you're not going to be able to make it, please let us know. There are people that are waiting, their comments are waiting, that are not approved, that would like to be there. If you've already made the comment, you're more than likely already approved. You just need to go in there and make sure that that I did on this, because it being such a small group, I did put that in there. So anyway, and I know that our guests that have invited us, or not guests, but the sponsors of the conference that invited us, did mention it could be possible to book it for a larger group if necessary, but I don't want to say that that's going to change. I'm not aware of that changing, but if it does change and they say that they can open it for a larger facility, I will come back and let you guys know, because I'm sure that we would probably double the number of people that are wanting to come. It would probably be closer to 150 people that would actually come. So anyway, I don't want to hold you guys any longer. Thank you for being a part here with us tonight. I am getting your emails with your addresses. Many people are sending just email, and that's okay if you just want to use email. But our plans for the future, email may work for a little while, but if they bring us down on the internet the way I think that it's going to happen, your mailing address would be probably the most critical. And even those people that support the ministry by mail, I have been working on a daily basis every day is the best I can, or every other day, getting those addresses into this database where we will be able to stay in touch with you guys as well. You're the easiest because I have your addresses already. And what our plans are will be to go in detail, making DVDs in some cases. Some cases it'll be newsletters, but making DVDs and sending those to you in the event that we're put down to nothing but snail mail to where we can stay in touch with people because we want to keep you informed. Anyway, I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your support of this ministry. Shalom.